At the top of the newscast, we told you about New York's Times Square becoming an epicenter of sorts in the pro-life fight against abortion. Kristen Hawkins with Students for Life of America joins us now with more specifically as abortion heats up and becomes more accepted. Welcome, Kristen. Tell us first about your concern over the acceptance of late-term or full-term abortions.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is something that the pro-life movement categorically opposes. We oppose abortion in, every stage of pregnancy. And when you think about late-term pregnancy, at the last 3 months of pregnancy, the last 6 months of pregnancy, majority of Americans actually agree with us that abortion is unnecessary and it's extremism because they see that this really does end the life of a preborn human person, a person with rights, a baby. And so that's why we went to New York, was to stand up to New York State, to tell them that the majority of our generation of millennials, the largest voting bloc in America, we reject this extremism and we're against it.
Kristen, we wanted to show our viewers a video of you recently talking with a student about saving the lives of babies born alive after botched abortions. Take a look here.
Why is it not a baby? Is what I want you to tell me. Is why do you think it's not a baby?
It's a fetus.
What's it?
It hasn't been born yet.
But if it has been born.
I'm curious, how did that conversation end, and what is at the heart of this mindset, Kristen?
Well, that conversation ended with me. At one point, I just stared at the audience and said, "You've just heard it." I pointed out the cognitive dissonance and the illogical position of those who advocate for abortion, because I had asked the young woman if she believes children who cross the border, make the dangerous trek with their parents across the border, if those children are at risk of dying from dehydration or malnourishment, should we give them food and water? Should we give them medical care? And she said, absolutely. Then I asked, well, what about babies born alive during an abortion procedure? Should we also give them medical care? And she said no, because those babies weren't babies. And then she actually went on to say, well, I know science says something different. And so what she was trying to make was a philosophical argument, saying that, yes, they might be human children, but they don't have the same worth, the same value as you and I. And honestly, she changed a lot of minds that moment in the crowd. It was a sold-out crowd of 150 students at Boston College. She changed a lot of minds because students who didn't enter the room agreeing with me about abortion saw the illogical position that the abortion movement has to take.
Back to your efforts in Times Square with the students rallying with crosses and billboards. What responses are you guys getting?
We're actually getting a really great response. I'm getting flooded with emails of people who've seen our billboard, who are for the first time learning about Students for Life and learning that we, in fact, are the majority. Yesterday, when we took 910 pink crosses to Times Square with about 30 students, one cross representing every baby Planned Parenthood will abort each day. And it was significant. People were stopping, taking pictures. Our staff actually engaged with many passerbyers when they were walking through Times Square, tourists, and we actually changed a lot of minds in that moment.
Do you think this will be the generation to bring an end to abortion in America?
I absolutely believe this generation will abolish abortion.